How we doing?
Good. So some players were saying upon watching the film, they realized that they sort of maybe won the point of attack more often than not up front in the game. What was your assessment?
Yeah, I think some of the new guys that had to play inside. I thought Pat Bethel did a good job in his first test. Obviously, everybody saw what G. Willis did. I thought Tito did a nice job in there. John Ford did a nice job in there. So, you know, anytime you have a performance like that, which you're disappointed in, there's always going to be some bright spots, you know, but not nearly enough, and not enough where anybody really would be satisfied by our performance.
So obviously Javonte Dean obviously got thrown in there early, unexpectedly because of the penalty. Just how he was maybe able to learn from that experience and the way he played.
Well, he's going to have to. He's going to have to. I mean, they only completed like 3 passes of over 10 yards, and 3 of them were, you know, in essence, his responsibility. But most of it, the more disappointing part was, it was, you know, 2 of them were coverage checks. You know, and it's the idea of being able to answer a question on a motion before the play. You know, where you're not just leaving a guy wide open because they put a guy in motion. So, you know, that's all part of maturation of a player.
The rotation, do you tighten it up at all now? I mean, I know mostly the second team was on the field when the 50-yard run happened. Like, are there some, I know offenses run fast paced, you have to rest guys, but is there some thought to maybe starters have to play more?
It might be the opposite.
Oh, really?
Well, because no, I mean, who would have proven that? How many guys would we have that proven that they can play at a high level? If anything, we need to reduce the feeling of entitlement and guys that are convinced that, you know, we need a good old competition, you know, to find out who our best guys are now that the games are here and we're not, you know, not reading about ourselves, and, you know, and find out who's really serious about this.
The freshmen who played, I know Greg Rousseau and, you know, DJ, how do you think they did?
The freshman worth highlighting is Al Blades, because when we lost Trajan, which is a whole other topic, we lost 2 players because, you know, not only our starting corner, we lost our starting nickel on 3rd down, and Al came in there and did not blink. It was not too big for him. I mean, covered maybe their best guy, you know, foot for foot. So Al was very encouraging the way he played in there. And then DJ Ivey played majority of the last third of the game. And kind of the same feeling with DJ. It didn't seem too big for DJ. Did a nice job. Wasn't challenged with the pass, but you know, was kind of did his job and looked like he knew what he was doing.
And Rousseau?
Greg was, I think Greg played on special teams. Obviously the
yeah, he had the one play. Is that just a freshman learning curve?
Yeah, I mean, it's critical, but you know, the other thing is when you're 6 foot tall like he is, when someone kind of blocks you low, you're going to go over top the guy, which makes you look like you're leaping over the shield.
Manny, do you believe that there was a targeting call? Do you think that was a correct call in the field?
Well, it is a. I've said this before. We should have. I don't blame anybody for following the rules as they are written right now, but there should be 2 types of targeting penalties. You know, I think we've done a good job. No one coaches tackling without the head harder than we do. There's no way. And we are a dedicated shoulder tackle team. The only player we've had to get a concussion since we've been teaching it this way was when an offensive player lowered their head into us last year. I think globally we've done a good job of taking that egregious hit over the middle out of the game. That's gone. But on a bang play like this, with you know how fast we got to, you know, the game's not played at super slow-mo now, right? And Trajan coming up on that tackle, had his eyes up, you know. I mean, threw his outside arm, getting ready to wrap up on the guy. You know, that's football. Now, if that's going to be a penalty, that's fine. That should be a 15-yard penalty. That should not be a disqualification. There's not another sport where we disqualify a player for a technique that had no malintent. It'd be like throwing a guy out of an NBA game just for a foul. You know, there should be different levels of flagrant. I've said that before. I'm just talking to the wall right now. No offense, but I do think it's unfair for defensive players. I do in that scenario. 4th play of the game, forced a fumble. You know, if we get on that ball, what that does momentum-wise to that game. So that's not any reason why we lost, but that was a massive turning point in that game.
I mean, obviously you guys did great in the second half. Did they do anything that, and look, their offense was an unknown coming in, did they do a lot that surprised you maybe early on, or?
No, the game wasn't an issue of tactics. We made a mistake on a long run, and we didn't respond to it. The whole football team. We dropped our gloves in the second quarter. offense, defense, special teams, and just and that to me was the most disappointing part. That's what we challenged them at halftime. We just didn't look like we were very mentally tough. They called the same plays, we all called the same plays, but in these games there's going to be give and take. You're not going to lose the game because you give a touchdown in the first half to make it 10-3, but we did, because after that point we did not respond. And above everything from the game, that was the most disappointing part, and that's a part for us to accomplish anything. We've got to show some resilience, not the resilience to not surrender. And yes, we made it, a little bit of a game of it in the second half, but to respond right then, and to punch right back when you get punched in the mouth, and we didn't have that. And that was, of all disappointments, that was the biggest disappointment.
Manny, Shaq shared with us that he and some of the veterans spoke up, players-only type situation. How important is that for morale in a locker room after a situation like Sunday? Well,
they're the guys that play, and everybody's hurt, and we're still hurt. I mean, even today's practice, there's still some rawness out here. The guys invested a lot in that game, and they're not happy at the way that it went. And but maybe that's the thing that's gonna get this chip back on our shoulder. And look, there's no talking. No one from the outside will care, but on the inside, us that care, we got to come back from this thing. And we got to get ourselves to, when we play, it looks like the way we want us to play.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you all.
Thanks, Manny.